Hi, I'm Maggie Weldon from Maggie's Crochet, and this Silver Spell tiered necklace video is sponsored by Premier Yarns. This elegant necklace shines with the sparkle of City Life yarn, and Premier City Life is a number 5 bulky weight yarn that comes in 13 colors. So you combine these 13 colors with the oceans of beads available in your local craft store, and the possibilities are endless. The skill level is intermediate, and the finished measurement is 17 inches long, and that's 43 centimeters. The materials are Premier Yarn City Life. 1 ball of orchid was used to make this, and 1 ball is enough to make more than 1 necklace. And this is the one I make in the video, and it's just got the 2 tiers, and it's just tied at the ends. This one has a clasp finish on it. So the hook that you need for this is a size 0 or a 3.5 millimeter, or the size needed to obtain gauge. And gauge really isn't that important in this project. The extras are 33 6 millimeter beads and a beading needle, the toggle closure, and sewing needle and thread, and those are optional, as you'll see in the other part of this video. The links to everything that I used in the video are listed below, and I want to thank you very much for watching, and let's get started on your lesson. So here's a close-up of the Silver Spell tiered necklace that I showed you in the introduction. And these strands were all done the exact same way, except that this one has 12 beads, this has 11, and this has 10 beads, so that when you hang it around your neck, it's in tiers like that. So to start making this was done with 6 millimeter beads, and for this lesson I chose to use a little bit larger pony beads, and these are like small pony beads, and they are 6 by 9 millimeters. So here's a strand that I worked, and it's equivalent to the bottom strand of this necklace. And you start out by leaving a long 6-inch end on your starting chain, and then you chain 17, and then you add a bead, and then you chain 6 and add another bead, and you just keep adding the beads. So this one has the 12, and so I'll start with the one that has the 10 on it. So to get started, I'm going to push these way up here so they're out of our way. To get started, what you do is you thread a needle, a yarn needle, with the City Life yarn, and then you just pre-string all of your beads. So in the beginning it tells you to string 33 beads, which is what I did. But I left the last couple so I could show you. It's real easy. Just put the beads on there like that and slide them down. And then when you've got all the beads on there, just go ahead and take the needle off. And the recommended hook size is a size E, and gauge really isn't that important here. Unless you crochet really tight, then maybe you have to use a larger hook. So I need about a 6-inch end, so I'm just going to eyeball this. It'd be about that long. You can use a ruler if you'd like. Then I'm going to make a slip knot, put that on my hook, and then in the directions it says to chain 17, and all the strands are the same. They say chain 17. And you just keep pushing your beads down the skein of yarn and pulling the yarn through the beads. I actually think, after working quite a bit with the City Life yarn, that a looser gauge is better. Okay, so now I've chained my 17, and then it says to place a bead. And in the general directions, place bead means to bring one of your beads up. So bring it up here like this, and then chain 1 to trap the bead. So I slid the bead up to the loop on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and just pull that away from the hook, and then pull that loop through the loop on my hook, and that's all you do to place a bead. So you do it like that, and then it says to chain 2 and then slip stitch in the 5th chain from hook. So this is the 3rd chain on the bead, so you just go 2 chains to the other side of the bead and do a slip stitch just like that, and then you chain 6 and then you place another bead. So you do the same thing. I'm going to pull up a couple because I pulled out a lot of yarn. Okay, so I'm going to pull the bead right up to my hook. I'm going to yarn over, bring that loop through the loop on my hook, and that locks the bead in there. Then I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to slip stitch in the 5th chain from hook. It's like right there, yarn over, bring that through, and bring that through the loop on my hook. This is what makes the beads kind of dangle like this. So you just continue doing that. I'll do another one. Chain 6. Okay, then place the bead, it says. You pull the bead close to the hook, right here, yarn over, draw that loop through the loop on your hook, and your bead is locked in there. Chain 2, and then I have to turn it a little bit and slip stitch in the 5th chain from hook. And that's the 3rd one placed. So go ahead until you have the required number. I don't know if you want to work on the longest one or the shortest one or the one in between. But I'm going to go ahead and finish putting the rest of the beads on, and then I'll be back to show you how to finish off the strand. So this second strand that I did has 11 beads on it. I know I said I was going to do 10, but I decided to do 11 because I'll put it together with the 12 so you can see that. So now you just chain 17 when you've got the number of required beads on your strand. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so then when I finish off, I just chain 1 more, and that last chain I'm going to tighten. I just pull on that back strand, and then I need to cut out 6 inches again. So I'm going to leave about 6-inch end like that. And it doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm just going to pull that out. Okay, so now I have 2 strands. And this one was done with 3 strands, but this one here for a sample is just going to be 2 strands. And then right here, you'll see that the chain 17 is right here on each, the end of each strand. So you bring it together right where the chain 17s come together, right here. And then you just knot this, knot the 2 ends together, or 3. You could actually add more beads and have longer strands. It'd be kind of neat. And pull that down like that. If you have a loop sticking out like that, just pull one of the strands to tighten it. Okay. It's about as tight as it wants to get. So there, you can tighten it like that, and you could just leave it like this and trim your ends so that they're even. Like right here. Make sure these are even. And just trim your end like that and use these as your tie. You could tie one more knot here to hold those together. That'd be the easiest way to do this. So just knot that end. or you can go ahead and put a little clasp on each end, which is what this one, how this one was done. So this one, the ends were taken over that ring there, and then they were brought back and put through the bead to hold them, and then they were knotted, and I think they had a little sewing stitch on them too. So, but I think this is a lot easier here. You could just tie it on like that. So you do the other side the same exact way. Let me do that real quick. You just match up the ends where the last chain is, and then you hold the two strands together. You wrap this around like this and pull that through. Just make a knot. And then make sure that knot slides really close to the last chain that's there. Okay, and then I want this end to match the other end, so I'm just going to kind of put it next to it right there and tie a knot right here. Okay, got my two strands through. And I can just cut right there. Okay. Alright, so if all went well, see that? It's like two-tiered instead of three, and the only difference is that I didn't do the third strand that had the 10 beads. So this one has 12, and that's why it's just one section longer, and this one has 11. And then if I would have done this one, it would have had a third strand that had 10 on it. But that's how you make the Silver Spell tiered necklace. And the color that I used here in this City Life is called Feline. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and links to everything are listed below the video, and thank you very much for watching.